K-Rino Radio. Ha. K-Rino Radio. Ha. Ha. Let's tell them about it. You're listening to K-Rino Radio on 90.1. Who is he? What is he? What does he do? Where is he from? H-Town, where the independent grind was invented. Understand, I'm the property owner, you just a tenant. KPFT is the station and location for the really special guests. Good knowledge and information for the coldest on the air. We making a strong case. If you scared of the truth, then you in the wrong place. Every Friday, 11 o'clock p.m. Central. We cooking the game, serving it up, feeding your mental. You can even call in, dial 713, backdoor with 526 KPFT. We ain't playing with them, we gon' tell it like it is, partner. Out of town, KPFT.org, yeah, we got ya. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now. Yeah, we got ya. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now.
What up, man? Once again, it's your big brother K-Rino. We have a very special guest in here tonight. This man is a Houston icon. He has been doing his thing in the city of Houston and has become a fixture in this city, one of the most identifiable, most successful artists to ever come out of the city of Houston. I'm talking about my homie who sold hundreds of thousands and millions of records, none other than the great Paul Wall is in the building. What up, P?
What it do, baby? You say you got special guests, but it's like, man, I know every week you the host, so you got special guests every week.
Man, look, man, I'm just little old me, man. But you know, I always appreciate individuals like yourself that take the time out of your busy schedule, because it's a difference between some cats just sitting around and ain't got nothing to do all day. There's somebody who is actually really, really working and putting that time and that grind in to come make time for his big homie to come through like that. So I appreciate you, man. Today is all about you, my brother. We're going to get right into it as we always do. I like to just kind of get a feel for the people who know you, but they may not know your story. So I want to ask you, what are your origins in music? What was the thing that sparked your interest and got you interested in this hip hop thing?
A few things. One, my mother, you know, I grew up in a single parent household, so on the weekends when my mom would have me and my sister cleaning up around the house, she'd be listening to music on a record player. She had a record player, so she listened to her record collection, which was a lot of Motown, Roberta Flack, Sade, you know, things of that nature. So that's what I grew up listening to. And it was like a Saturday was this was like her means of release of stress. Like, this is how, you know, she'd clean up, but it was like therapeutic for her, because she'd have music playing and it would be like a positive time when she'd be encouraging to come on, we got to clean up the house, you know, just getting us up. But, you know, not really in a fussing kind of way. Well, my father was real abusive, so my mother was real nurturing. So it was like opposite. So it was like, you know, with her, with the music, it was, I seen the power and the therapy of listening to the music. No matter what type of mood you in, the music will bring something out of you and change your mood. So I seen that power. Then, you know, as life goes on, my grandfather, who was my mother's father, so my grandfather, he was in the military a lot, and he was a lieutenant colonel with the Army. He actually, when he was in World War II, he used to have poetry. It reminded me of you, because, you know, you got your notebook that you know for carrying around. But my grandfather would, while he was in the field in World War II, he had a poetry notebook that I didn't even know about. I didn't even find. I knew about it, but I didn't find it till after he passed away. Right. And I'm like, man, I wish I could have went bar for bar with my grandpops. You know what I'm saying? But he actually used to write poetry. So, you know, thinking back to that, it was like something that he always, and also him also being he always encouraged he encouraged a unification of people regardless of race. He wasn't for any type of segregation, or I'm better than you or you better than me because of the color of your skin. Right. And in his whatever unit he was in the military, he was like the only white guy and everybody else was black. So it was something that he always would encourage me. He would tell me that him and my grandmother, they'd go to different jazz clubs around the country or wherever, and he'd always tell me that they would always be the only two white people in there, but it was always welcoming, not a bad thing. It was that was just a minor detail of the story, you know what I'm saying? So that was something that whereas I think back to a lot of other people who have grandparents who have different stories with them that encourage them to go in a different direction in their life when it comes to race relations. Well, my grandfather was very encouraging to me to have friends of all races. He encouraged me, he was bigoted against ignorance, so if you're ignorant, then he is not for that at all. He don't have no type of time of day for you. So he was always encouraging to me to go out and befriend people of all races, and definitely never put up a wall or whatever. But that is where a lot of, him with his poetry, writing his poetry, I think that's a lot. Also, he was an educator. My mother also as well was an educator for 30 years. So even though I didn't go into a field of education, when you're an artist or a lyricist, you putting words together, it's like you got to have some type of educational background of vocabulary, you know what I'm saying? Or you can know how to put words together, one way or another. So that's something else that kind of added to, my little rhyming schemes and my, my little vocab a little bit. But in terms of growing up with the music, as I grew up, when I was around, maybe I would say 12 or 13, maybe a little before that, but right around that age, 6th grade, 7th grade, me and Chameleon, we grew up together. So on the school bus or at the basketball games or football games, wherever the track meet, whatever sports occasion or whatever going on in school or at the park or whatever we got going on, we would always rap. It'd be for fun. Right. So we would, not just me and him, we had a few other friends around the neighborhood. We would just kick rhymes and just see who was the best and who could go bar for bar, who could go off the top of the head freestyle, and who could come with, written down verses, who could talk about what's going on in front of you, look at that lady with the, with the black short skirt, stuff, whatever, just, we just go bar for bar, and we all would do it on the, at the lunch table or at the school bus, wherever. And that's just something that, we enjoyed sports and we enjoyed rhyming. And we never really, I don't think any of us expected to go to the NBA, just as none of us expected to make it to the National Rapper Association, you know what I'm saying? But it kind of, with the hard work and with doors opening and just, with God's path being that this is what happened, it happened. So, praise God that this being something that was something I really enjoyed. And if I knew that I would be where I'm at today, I probably would have took a lot of things more serious than I did, because I could have benefited from them today. Where at the time, a lot of things you don't take serious because you don't expect to make it as a rapper. So, like, why would I care about, having my, Spanish bars up? But now I wish I knew more Spanish than I did.
That feeling, man. Yeah, I mean, and you touched on a lot. It's a couple things I want to go back into, but I kind of want to go into them in order. You mentioned earlier about, you said when your grandmother and grandfather were going. Yeah, see, music is universal, and that's the beauty of it. It transcends any racial lines, any lines of class or social status, anything. When you hear that song, it affects people the same way, regardless of where they are in life, high or low, anywhere in between. So that's the beauty of it, and what brings us all together. Who were some of the rappers that influenced you when you was coming up?
For whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of what we're taught in school or what, but I was always taught, and I bought in early on to the fact that Texas is better. So, I don't know, that's just because I'm from Texas, so I felt, oh yeah, I'm from Texas. Yeah, it is, but we are better than everybody else. But I always, our soda tastes better than, whatever, our barbecue's better, our music's better, our rappers are better. So I always took a liking to all the Houston rappers, a lot quicker than I did the more national artists. Well, when I grew up in that time period, you would hear on the radio mostly West Coast artists. Yeah. And on TV, on MTV Raps or whatever, whatever shows were on TV, on BT and MTV, you would mostly see the New York artists. You wouldn't see but on none of it you would hear or see any Southern artists.
Right.
You know, the Rap Alive, Scarface, Ghetto Boys, they were kind of the few that they might get a little bit of love elsewhere, but they wouldn't really get a lot of play for whatever reason. But on the screw tapes or just on mixtapes or just through the independent hustle, car shows and stuff like that, we got introduced to all the local artists here, which for me was hands down, you know, my favorite compared to any other style of hip hop. So all the local artists, of course, anything that came out on screw tape, they were all my favorite, of course. Street Military, you know, of course, UGK, all the Rap A Lot artists back in the days as well. I was a fan of all of it, all the Swisha House artists, any art, you know, it used to be where I would go to like Sam Goody or, you know, just any of the stores that sold
Sam Goody, boy.
That sold music back.
Flashback.
Any store period that sold music, or, you know, Soundwaves, or, you know, like the mom and pop stores, those are the ones that would sell the local music. So it's kind of would be like something you would have to go find. You'd have to go find a mom and pop store, because those would be the only stores that sold the rappers I listen to. But, you know, I go to any of these stores, and anything that came out that was hip hop, sometimes I'd buy. And then for sure, anything that came out that was from Texas, I'd buy, hands down.
Let me ask you that, because that's interesting, because you came along at a time, and you grew up at a time, you a little younger than me, but you grew up at a time where by the time you started to listen to hip hop, Houston was getting a lot of local love like this. The artist was getting the radio play, so we kind of had a feel of saying we got our own stars out here at that time. So that was a good advantage to have, like coming up where we came up, me and Murder, we came up at a time where our idols were from the East Coast and West Coast, because that was all we had.
Yeah, right.
So that's an interesting thing to just. I can kind of feel it once Face popped off.
Yeah.
Because we had that pride, like somebody finally made it out of here.
Yeah.
But that had to be interesting to grow up. Like, we got hood celebrities all around us like that.
Right. And that's for sure how it was. All the artists, all the producers, the DJs, everybody, anybody who's a part of it from top to bottom, the people who were getting shout outs on the songs, to me, all of these people were stars to me.
Right.
And they were at the same level of stardom as Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones and whoever.
It's relative.
If not bigger to me.
Yeah.
Because to the people I would see on TV, like Michael Jackson, something like that, that's not a real person to me. But the people who are on these rap songs that they talking about a street that I can go drive down. They talking about places that I go to, that I frequent. They talking about people that I know or that I might know of. So it's like, to me, it's more real to me, whereas like the mainstream music or the mainstream pop music or just whatever, even the mainstream hip hop, is not real to me. First of all, a lot of times they're talking with slang in a language that I don't know what the hell they talking about, because we don't refer to, you know, the things the same way that they do in other parts of the country. And then at the same time, they're talking with not only their accents is different than our southern accents, but they talking with words that I don't know what they talking. So they talking about places I don't even know what so it's like they almost speaking another language to me. So, you know, when I would hear the local rappers or rappers from Houston or just from Texas in general, those were always bigger and better than me. And they were like
identify basically. Yeah, it's like, man, you know, he said Timmy Chan.
Yeah,
you know, it's
exactly.
Like, I ate there last night. Yeah, I got you, man. Let me ask you this, because you came up through the Swisha House, right? Okay, now what was that whole? Every clique in the city, and everybody that has made any noise in this city has those origin stories of how that house was built. What was it like in them early days when that Swisha house was actually being built, and for you to be right there during the construction of all that?
Man, it was a real blessing to be a part of it from the early stages. I can't say I was there from the absolute beginning, but definitely, you know, when I was pretty young, I was like 15 or 16 years old. You know, I was born in 81. So, and like around 96, 97, that's when they used to do these little parties around my neighborhood on the north side, around Acres Home, just the area at the All-Star Sports Complex. It was like batting cages and an arcade and go-kart place. But basically it would be Michael Watts, Ron C, Smoothie, a couple people we went to high school with, Reggie Silk, a couple other people. They would throw parties, and Michael Watts, Ron C would DJ the parties, and on occasion the Swisha House rappers would come rap there. But I was young. I was just coming out of junior high, going into high school, so I was real young. I would pass out flyers at my school or go to, the different schools around there and pass out flyers. And I basically would do promotions. That was the easiest. That's the easiest door that you can access to get it, to be a part, is to do promotions.
No doubt.
Rapping is the toughest because everybody want to be a rapper.
Right.
Everybody can't be everything, so you got to kind of find a role. So the only way I could get in, the only door that I could get access through was doing promotions.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I did street promotions, pass out flyers, put up posters, bring the records to the DJs to get them played. Just be on the scene doing promotions. And at the time, it for sure was like a scrub job. Nobody wanted to do it. Everybody else wanted to get in the club and get in free. Me, I just wanted to be a part. So I would do whatever I wanted. And I didn't think of it as a scrub job. I took pride in the fact that I'm passing out flyers. So I would study, like, what can I do to be more effective than just put a flyer on somebody's car. Let me put it in your hand. And when I put it in your hand, let me look in your eye and tell you about it. Do anything that'll just stop you, to just up it up a little bit compared to what other people were doing.
And that's a hell of a lesson for anybody that's listening out there, because sometimes your path to get in that door is not just somebody holding it open and escorting you through it.
Right.
You got to work your way through in other ways, and then for you to have that vision, like, that's the mentality of, like, whatever job I do, I'm gonna be the best at it.
Yeah.
And then it leads to that, because when you do the job that don't nobody want to do, that you best believe somebody at the top is going to appreciate it at some point. And it also instills a work ethic in you that translates over to when it is. If you wasn't a rapper, if rap didn't exist, what you think you would be doing?
Oh, for sure, DJ. But it kind of goes hand in hand with rap. Even then, at the same time, my dream goal, my career goal was to be a DJ on 97.9 The Box. That was my dream goal in life. That's what I thought. It can't get no higher than that to me. That's what it was at the time, growing up as a child. So I wanted to start off doing an internship, which always they start you off doing promotions. But at the time, there was some type of scandal or something going on. They no longer let interns come. They were under 17. So that summer I was going to be an intern. They no longer. I was like 15 or something. They're like, okay, I can't do it no more. I gotta do something else. So I started doing promotions and interning for record labels instead of for the radio station. But at the time, though, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a DJ to play music, not DJ like host show, talk on the mic, but a DJ like that plays the actual, like an actual
a disc jockey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You're spinning the record. Let me ask you this, okay? Because when you did y'all were the color changing clique.
Yeah.
And I just remember when y'all had the city on fire, man. Y'all had hottest song popping at the time. You and Chameleon, y'all had an interesting dynamic. And I've always said that when you have groups or duos in rap music, the best ones in history have always been different from each other. And y'all had that same dynamic. What was that like to first get that first taste of being like, man, we popping, we got the city on us right now?
It's kind of unbelievable, because when it's something you've never experienced before, you're like, how long does it last?
Right.
Is this as good as it gets? Does it get better? What does this mean now? Of course, usually you think, oh, I made it. But for me, it was more like one of them, on 8 Mile when Eminem won, he was like, everybody's like, oh, you made it, you won. He's like, nah, I ain't make it. I got bills to pay. I got to go back to my job. That's kind of more how I felt. I took it along the lines of, yeah, we got a song that's getting played, we got love, but man, you know how far I want to go. My dreams are, I got some.
This is just the first step.
This is this level 2. I need to get to level 200.
You walk up 2 steps and then you look up. It's more steps to go. I want to talk about something else that is a quality in Paul Wall that I personally have always appreciated in you. That we never had this conversation before. It's only a handful of people that I look at that have ever came through the city of Houston in this game that I just look at and say, well, man, this guy, he really gets it in terms of his connection relationship with the people and the fans. And Screw was definitely one of those people. but you are one of those people too. Anytime I see you in the public and the people around you, you never turning people away. You never mistreating nobody. You always are real approachable, taking pictures, shaking hands, kissing babies, just showing that genuine love. How important is that to you? And for other artists, it maybe, how important should that be in terms of having that humility for the people who support you and hold you up like that?
I think it's different for everybody. First, you got to do what can bring you the most peace. So for me, I took on a persona as being a people's champ. That's something that kind of, one of my homeboys in Dallas, his name is J Mac, he gave me the nickname the people's champ. And when he gave it to me, it kind of, he flipped the switch where it's like, you know what, that's the perfect way to describe my mentality. Now, when you're the people's champ, you're not necessarily winning MVP. You're not necessarily winning the title, but the people always hold you up in a place at the same type of level or as the people who are winning MVP or winning the title, as long as I remain the people's champ. So with that comes a lot of things. What that means, I can't turn people down, because as soon as I start, acting a fool or being a jerk to people, then I'm no longer the people's champ.
Right.
Also, I'm in competition for sure, with, usually with myself, but, there are other individuals who might be in my same type of lane who I'm in competition with, but I'm not in competition with any other people's champ. So for instance, if there's someone else who comes out and they the new people's champ, I ain't beefing with them. Nah, you ain't. I'm the people's champ. Because if I do, then I'm no longer the people's champ. Being the people's champ means it's all for the people. So, the people come first before me. Yeah. So if the time comes for me to pass the torch, by all means, I'm gonna pass it. I'm still gonna be me and still be the people's champ as well. But at the same time, it's not like I'm the only people's champ. It's not like a something like that.
Yeah, the people make you.
For sure.
The people allow us to live how we live, however it is that we live. So, but I still feel like that have to be a quality that's already in you, because if it was fake, you wouldn't even be able to pull it off like that.
I appreciate this. Is my dream job. Yeah. This is what I prayed for. This is what I still pray for. This is what I still work hard for. I don't take not one aspect of it for granted. And it's different than an athlete, where the athlete, they do got endorsement deals, but their contract is with the team and the owner. So it's not with the fans. So they don't have to be cool with the fans. They can cuss the fans out. They ain't got to take pictures, none of that. They usually do, but they don't have to. Whereas an artist, our paycheck comes directly from sales.
Yeah, so they are employees. The fans are our employees.
So if I treat the fans bad, then they're gonna stop buying my music and come to my shows, and then it directly is linked to how you treat. Now at the same time, we both know there's lots of people out there in our occupation who aren't that friendly with fans, but they still have huge hits, great careers, whatever. So, you usually there's like a common ground. You got to find a little, I know I take it a little bit farther than other people do when I'll take every picture. Like my family hated sometimes where they be like, man, come on, we're going to be late. And I'm just standing there taking pictures.
Man, that's a beautiful thing to me, because it's like you like I say, you get it, and you have to get it, because at the end of the day, man, we don't know how long this wave is going to ride.
Exactly.
And on the flip side to that, you also are dealing with the situation of somebody that runs in the power wall coming out the gas station, and somebody who had no idea they was going to see you that day. That's a moment they're going to remember forever. Now you may never, it may leave your mind the second you get in the car and burn off. But they're going to go home and tell, man, guess who I saw today? Yeah. So that's the importance of that, man. So I always appreciated that in you, because I would peep that, like, man, Paul be really personable with people, man.
I felt like, I tell my kids this too, I felt like, man, we kind of like, we lightweight superheroes, man. Now, my superpower is the power to bring joy. Now, it's not effective on everybody, but when you had that chance, and kind of like you talking about, like I just bump into somebody, they having a hard day or they having a hard time, and they like, damn, that power, man, what you doing? Like, it just, you can see the smile come across. It's not effective on everybody, but the people that it is effective on, it is effective. When it could change their day. One moment can change their day, and that could possibly change their life.
Yeah, that's a fact, because you just don't know, man. You never know.
I remember when I was a kid, I remember being at Hobby Airport. I was a kid. I was like, I don't know where I was going because I probably only flew a plane probably twice in my life when I was a kid. But I remember being a kid, and I remember bumping into Bushwick Bill and saying, "Oh snap, that's Bushwick Bill," like knowing this Bushwick Bill. And I was probably like 12 years old. So I was, young. I wasn't even a teenager yet.
Right.
But so I was definitely a child. So, but I knew that was Bushwick Bill. And it was early morning. He was traveling somewhere. And he was, he was obviously tired because he was like not passed out, but he was like kind of sleeping at some little restaurant somewhere in Hobby Airport. It wasn't many. So whatever the little rest, he was just sitting there trying to give him a little trap nap before the plane. And I just went up to him, a little kid. And I don't know if he gonna cuss me out, or security gonna cuss me out. Of course, he didn't look like he wanted to be bothered, but I went up to him, spoke, said, "Bushwick Bill, what's up, man? I'm a big fan, whatever." He was cool. He took time to speak to me, took a picture with me. This was, back before there was camera phones, so I had to actually get somebody to actually take a picture, get the camera out, all the extra stuff. Right. Yeah. And he wasn't the least bit rude at all or anything. And obviously you could tell he didn't want to be bothered, but he still took time out to spend that time with me. And I never forgot it.
Right. Exactly.
I also remember meeting Big Boy from Outkast. One time me and Chameleon there, we were probably about 16 or 17. I mean, I still got the ticket stubs so I can find out exact age. I still got my ticket stubs from these concerts.
Right, me too.
But I remember being there, and we were at the Woodlands, and we were at the, on the field where you sit down, but we were on the lowest level. So right there, right in front of us was like a little 6-foot drop, and that was where people were walking around, and that was the lower level. And Outkast just came off stage. I think they were on tour with maybe Cypress Hill, Erykah Badu. It was that tour, and maybe the Roots was there too. But anyway, I see Big Boy walking in front of me like George Jefferson, like Tupac when he come out of jail with his arm swinging in the back. That's the same way I seen Kiki walk out of Charlestown Mall in 2002. but now, I seen him walking, and I said, "Oh snap! Hey, come in." I go, Big Boy. He like, "Oh man, what we gonna do?" He looked like he probably was walking to a meet and greet or something going on.
Right.
I'm a little wild sometimes, so I said, "Man,
go for
what the hell?" I just went for it. Yeah, I just jumped over the thing, jumped down about 6-8 feet. His big old security guards was like, "Stop me and me." Like, what? But I'm a kid, I'm a child, so he like, I'm like, "Man, please, I just want to meet." I just want to. Yeah. They said, "All right, come on, we'll let you meet." And they was amazed too. Like, "Man, he got some crazy fans. What the hell going on?" But I just jumped down a little 8 feet, and I was like, "Man, please, can I get your autograph?" He signed an autograph for me. I still got the autograph to this day. So I remember these encounters, just like you said, and there are other ones too, where now the negative encounters come from when I was working at Def Jam. When I was young at this age too. I was like 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, that whole era, even a little older than that. But I was doing street promotion for Def Jam, and I remember, busting my tail, man, to do promotions for somebody from another city. That's their first time coming to Houston. I do all kind of work, and they completely high side on me, Man, it's like, okay, I
lost my job that day.
Yeah, so I remember that like them experiences, the negative and the positive, and it made me as an artist be like, well, I want all my experiences to be positive. I want people every person I run into, I want them to remember that for the rest of their life, whether they're a fan of me or not. I want that. I want to take advantage of that opportunity,
man. No question. And you can gain fans by doing that.
Definitely.
I want to get into some other stuff, because what a lot of people might not know about you is how active you are in the community. And there have been many instances where there's been something going on in the city or some type of initiative taking place that I've shown up, and Paul Wall is there. Stand up. It would be for the situation, police brutality against black people. Paul Wall is there. Other issues going on in the community. Paul Wall is there. We speaking outside about school drives and things of that nature. As an artist and as a celebrity, and not just a local figure, but a national and worldwide figure, speak to the importance of somebody like yourself being visible and involved in the community like that, man.
Definitely, it's a responsibility, an obligation. It's also an opportunity. A lot of times people don't care until something happens, but we can prevent a lot just from trying. A lot of times we don't try. Sometimes we think we're not needed, or we're not valued, but we gotta all put a effort forth to just better ourselves, better our neighbors, better our communities. It's something that, you know, for me, it came as an opportunity when I was on the rise, where a lot of DJs would take me to different schools to do little promo runs. It really started out for us real big in Dallas when Greg Street was at the radio station in Dallas, and he would take us to, him and another guy, Melda Mack. They would take us to all these high schools. We do like a high school promo run, and it would just be the greatest promotion for us, because all the high school fans, they never seen an artist, period. So they treated us like we would Jay-Z. You know, me and Kameen, we was like Jay-Z, you know, Biggie and Pac right there. But so it was that one was a great experience. Until to this day, I see people and they be like, man, you came to my high school in 2005. You know, so it's one of them things where you can create a life-lasting fan and supporter of your brand. So that's something for sure I took advantage of going to the school just from a marketing perspective. But then at the same time, you know, my boy Goo Yu, he always, and also, you know, myself as well, I went to University of Houston, he went to Texas Southern, but we all, you know, throughout the whole, you know, rise of in my whole career, you know, we've known people who had careers in education or just in the community that had things going on. So we would always lend our voice or our celebrity just to try to help out, you know, and it's like, if all I got to do is post something or show up, and that's the difference in it being successful or not, then I'm going to do my part, you know, and try to do that. It's very, very easy work. You know, some things you really do got to put in hard work to get things accomplished. But when you're a celebrity, you know, just reposting stuff, that's like, that ain't nothing, you know, it's tough to do. Or even just showing up, taking pictures. Like when you show up to a place just to take pictures with people, it can really, like, a lot of people who have never seen anybody, then it's like, you know, it means something. And to me, you know, growing up, my mom was a teacher, but I didn't have money for new school clothes. So I didn't have new school clothes, new school shoes, nothing like that. But if one of my favorite rappers would have, or just if any rapper would have been like, hey, here, I got your school clothes this year, and they gave me some shoes, no matter what kind of shoes they were, I would love them. Yeah, no question. Yeah, so I just see that they're like, well, why don't we do the same thing? Well, you know, like Zero will come drop off, you know, 50 backpacks. Man, that means a lot. Hey, these backpacks came from Zero. You know, these backpacks came from Lil Kiki. These backpacks came from K-Rino. This means something to the kids. Like, man, they go to school. They don't matter what kind of school. You might not even want to carry the backpack. They gonna keep it at home. But it can spark something in them that, you know, can maybe inspire them to want to go to school. Yeah, or to be just like y'all. Because that is the key in this society where a lot of the celebrities or people with names, they get a bad rap. In those instances, it makes a young person look at them like, I'm gonna be that. And then those stories come full circle, and then you round here years later, and some youngster that has made a success out themselves come to you and say, man, you the reason why I went to medical school, or you came to my apartment complex when I was 12 and help my mama do that. I mean, that's big, man. We got about 10 more minutes, man. Real quick, I definitely want to talk about this because you also innovated something that had become a big part of the culture in this city that's not a negative thing too, and that's the grills. You know, we can't talk to Paul Wall without talking about the grill. How'd you get into that and the impact that it's had on the whole world? Because I remember when Chris Paul signed with the Rockets last year, the first thing he said, we got to get us a grill. And that's directly derived from the legacy that you laid down. How'd you get into the whole grill thing with Johnny Dang and all that? Man, it's amazing to think and to look at it and to say, man, I can't believe that I'm a part of that. You know, like it's amazing. It's something that was around before me. You know, it was gonna be around regardless if I was ever on this earth or not. But just to be able to be a part of that is just, man, I definitely, man, I feel great. And you've done grills for some of the top people walking the planet. First of all, coming up as an artist, there are some people who didn't necessarily want to maybe do music with me, but if they can get a grill from me for a cheaper price, then they'll do music with me. So I definitely, you know, sometimes I definitely have benefited from that. For one, also I made a lot of money, but for me, I wanted a grill. You know, for me, the people who had gold teeth or grills in their mouth, like the good ones, they were always somebody of some type of successful stature. They had a beautiful woman on their side. They had a nice car. They had nice clothes, fresh haircut, all that. So all the things that I could look to see as being a success, they had. A grill was one of the things, you know, just like they might have a watch or a necklace. They'd also have a grill, you know, so it was just something that
just came with the package.
It just came. Yeah. So for me growing up as a child, I didn't really realize that it's something that everybody didn't have everywhere. I just saw that the same way I looked at it, somebody wearing a Rolex or a piece and chain, they had a grill, you know, so I wanted a grill. And as a kid, you know, you got, it's a dedication. You know, back in those days, you had to get it permanent, where you had to get your teeth filed down, get them glued in. So it was like, man, I don't know if I want a grill, but I want a job too. So I don't know if I want. So I had to. Well, I remember when crime came down to Houston with the removable style. This was like 97, 98. So he had the removable, and we was all like in Acres Home. We was like, man, they talking about like the barbershop, the wig shop grills. Like we don't want nothing like that. But we actually see, it was funny because we were all nervous to get the first one. We was like, who's gonna be the first one? Who's gonna be the guinea pig to get it to see what it's like? But once we got it, we like, oh yeah, this was what's up. And we always, and I remember I've told every member of Wu-Tang this. I used to always, we would watch, me and Camille, and we'd be at home watching videos, and they take their grills out on the video, and we'd be like, what is that? How did you? We can't do that to our grills, so how did y'all? Well, I never knew that until crime came with the removable New York style, and that was like, oh, that's what Wu-Tang do in their video. That's okay. That's what they got. Okay,
options.
Yeah.
If I don't want to rap no more and go to corporate America,
I got bills to pay.
That's what's up. You know, but also to that, when you say, yeah, man, it helped me make a lot of money. Talk to younger artists and even artists, period, just whatever the case may be, about the importance of diversifying your hustles.
Right.
You can't rap forever to find something else to do.
Well, if your only means of income are derived, if your only means of income is derived from your royalty checks from music, it's gonna make you create a certain kind of music, because all music don't sell the same. You know, certain music sells more than other music. And you know, I don't want to be the type of artist who's only making music based off of what sells. I want to, you know, what especially at this point in my career where I'm at, I'm more concerned about my legacy than I am about how many sales I sold the first week of an album or mixtape or something like that. I'm concerned about my legacy, and I'm more concerned about a group of music, a group of albums I put out, you know, in the next 10 years, what does that group of albums look like? What does that package look like? Not just necessarily what's sold. So most people don't understand that there's so many ways to make money. You make money off of CD sales, off of iTunes downloads, off of streams, off of your merch money, off of show money, off of features, off of hosting things, off of DJing as well. A lot of artists also DJ as well, off of being brand ambassadors for different, you know, companies and stuff. You get the corporate sponsorship, those type of. There's lots of ways to get money, and of course also with whatever business you got. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, lots of people have different. You know, Slim Thug has his Boss Life Construction. Of course, me and Johnny, we got the grills. I got a few other things, a couple clothing lines, a couple other things I got. But you know, there's all different types of ways to get money. If you're an artist, please don't let the only way you make money be off of your record sales, because then your music's gonna be. You're gonna go in the studio basing what kind of music you make off of, okay, this got to be a #1 album, so what kind of songs? Of course we all want our music to sell, and you know, of course I want my albums to sell and be successful, but what I'm speaking to specifically is, if you want to get your song played on the radio, there's a format to the songs they play on the radio. The ads, the advertisements, the people who buy commercials, the companies, they buy based off of what the female people want to buy or what they want to listen. So they play music to try to attract younger female listeners. My music is not geared toward younger female listeners. So if I want to have a successful song on the radio, that doesn't mean I have to have a song geared toward to younger female listeners, but you got a much better shot of it getting added or played on the radio or on any radio station. That's not a knock against Houston radio. That's any radio anywhere, because that's what brings in the most revenue with the ads. So that's just how it's a business. That's how they do it. So it is what it is. So, but I'm not trying to make my music based off of that. I'm trying to make music specifically for an area of people people aren't making music. People, the music game, the industry is trendy. So whatever one person does, everybody does.
Right.
So people get often they one hit wonders here today, gone tomorrow, or they get caught up in the shuffle and lost in the record labels and they beefing or whatever, But for me, I'm focused more on specifically people who riding around in a slab. What music do they want to listen to? That's what I want to make music for. Or artists in Houston, or not, or I'm just say artists, but people in Houston who are fans of the Houston culture. What do they want to listen to? That's what I'm making music for. And so that covers a wide. There's people out of state who also listen to this. There's people in other cars who drive other cars, not necessarily slabs, who might listen to my music as well. But I'm trying to please a specific group of people. It's Pimp C is he's the one who pointed this out to me, man. So I never took it lightly. He told us that UGK has about 350,000 true fans. Now, if you got a hit, it's going to go up to 500.
Come on.
If you got a feature, it's going to go up to 1 million. If you got a good video or tour or some type of publicity stunt or something, you might crack 1.5. But as long as you keep your true core 350,000 fans happy, you always have a career. So, you can't do no weird. You could be weird if that's where your fan base is, but don't be weird outside of that. Don't, you start doing stuff you're going to lose your core fans. So that's one thing I always said, stay true to. Now, I went through the ups and downs of that. When you're on a major label, they got millions of dollars on the line. You don't necessarily have that opportunity, the option to keep it true to your fans. Sometimes they are picking it. Sometimes I don't have a choice at all what songs go on the album. They pick for me. I don't even have a say so. So, and it's funny thinking back too, because I didn't got into people where I done lost friends because I didn't put their song on the album, but it wasn't even my choice. It was somebody else's choice. They ain't my friend no more because the song ain't on the album, but it ain't even my choice.
Well, Paul is giving y'all the game, man, and because I said the exact same thing. I've been saying it for years. You develop a core audience. That core audience sustains you throughout your whole career, and people latch on to it based on the spikes in your popularity at the time. But when it spikes down, they kind of jump off.
Yeah, they jump off.
All of the business game that y'all have received from this man today, y'all need to incorporate it into y'all's career, into your lifestyle, period, because music changes. The climate of music changes, and the man who sold 10 million records 10 years ago, he may only be selling 40,000 now. 100,000 is practically the new platinum these days. Because physical copies don't just move like that anymore. Give them any social media info that they can reach out to you and anything you got popping, Instagram and all that.
For sure. OilerMobENT.com. Hit me up, Paul Wild Baby, at Paul Wild Baby. All social media, everywhere, networks, at Paul Wild Baby. Already.
Man, we want to thank you, man, for coming through. The homie Paul Wild came through and educated us well. And also I want to thank my brother, my OG partner, Murder One, for riding shotgun. No Regret Media's in the building, man. Keisto and Young Pro in the building, man. And thank y'all for listening to K-Rino Radio, man. Every Friday, 11 p.m. Love y'all, man. The pledge drive is going on now, so be sure to call in and break some bread, 713-526-KPFT, because we do this for y'all, and y'all have been doing it for us all this time, man. So thank y'all once again, man. K-Rino Radio, the homie Paul Wild. It is what it is, man. SPC. Love y'all. Peace.
The Wizard and the Champ.